Hey, what's up? This is JB. We're back once again for another installment. Got a lot of games to cover. As you can see, the talk is clicking. The talk is clicking. The clock is ticking. Hope y'all guys can hear me a little bit here better through the mic. I was a little bit low on the last recording. Definitely don't want it to be peaking too much. Let's get into it, man. It was a small slate yesterday. Some weird games, some weird outcomes, some pitchers that looked very good that had been looking good. It was just one of those things, man. Either you had it or you didn't. Um, of course, I thought the Cardinals had a good shot offensively, and they kind of woke up a little bit late in that game against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just looked flat, man. Um, the anomaly pitcher was Liberator. They said it was his old team he was going up against. And 34 fantasy points, man. So, again, Cardinals right now, where they're sitting at, they can easily just be spoilers right now at this point. Um, um, they're at the bottom of the division, NL Central. NL Central is crazy, with the Cubs and Cincinnati. We all know St. Louis 11 games back in that game. Tampa Bay in a very contested AL East. The losers of their last two. Um, Everything's gonna be a dogfight there. Even with Toronto being 4 games behind Tampa Bay, AL East is kind of where all the popcorn is right now. Houston was battling it out yesterday. Um, in the early bird there with the Orioles, two teams, kind of at the top of their division, and Orioles won a nail biter, with Kramer. Kramer, I don't know how he's doing it, man. The guy started off kind of shaky, and now he's 11-4. He's kind of mid, you know what I'm saying? He's not losing contests for you, and um, he can definitely get you an anomaly start, 20 fantasy points against Astros. So pitching has kind of been kind of weird lately until the top of the rotation comes back around with the power pitchers. But man, when those third, fourth, fifth pitchers get in rotation, it's like free fall, man. Anything can possibly happen, right? So we're gonna kind of speed round this, man. Hope you guys can keep up. We got Oakland and Washington here. Two teams not really fighting for anything. We got Adon and Blackburn. Blackburn's been kind of up and down throughout the season. He's come out here a little bit late. Had San Francisco and Colorado, two teams who San Francisco is kind of playing for something, and Colorado not. He's held his own, against San Francisco, who are pretty tough on righties. Didn't give up the long ball in his last 2 games. Again, we know Washington, they don't really strike out a lot. They'll base hit you all day. Even with the changes they made and leaving some guys go, they're second in strikeouts. So that's still the identity of that team. Um, he's had 7 strikeouts in his last 2 games, which is good. San Francisco strikes out a lot. Colorado is kind of makeshift team. Didn't get a lot against Boston, who's a pretty good contact team. But good thing to see here in a matchup that doesn't haunt anybody. He's definitely worth a fly. He's got 6. He's been giving you at least the opportunity to win a game. So he's been going 5 innings in his last 4 games. The team that really is not a high-powered offensive team, and he's only picked up 1 win in the last 3 games. Didn't do very good against that Boston game. So if you're looking for a win, this could be a spot. If he can come out and get 15, 20 fantasy points for you, if he doesn't give up the long ball. But according to covers, they got a 9-0 run in this game, which is sporting kind of offense. Not really anything too positive on the money line. They got Washington at -118 and the A's at -102. Honestly, I think anybody could really win this game. Let's look into Adon. And as for Blackburn, yeah, I do like him. He definitely, he'll probably allow you to get some bats, at that 6,900 clip. Um, 8 on here, 6,600. They say he's going to have permanent spot in the rotation down the stretch. So that's a vote of confidence from the management staff. Hopefully, that can equate in some quality pitching for him. Against Cincinnati, he did good. I mean, Cincinnati, they got some good batters in their lineup. He did give up the long ball, 3-run run. Here's a young guy that's trying to fight to make a name for himself. Said they're going to go with a 6-man rotation, so you already know what that means. They're pretty much just kind of looking at, showcasing. They're just kind of observing what these guys can do right now. So, what was positive in that Cincinnati game, he went over 5 innings. He had 7 strikeouts, so the 3 earned runs didn't really hurt too bad because he got some strikeouts, which is 2 points. That kind of negates the runs. So 23 points, that was pretty strong. So you can kind of see why Vegas is probably leaning away for Washington because this guy, does have some strikeout ability here. As for Oakland lineup, let's do a refresh here, guys. I think this is probably one of my older ones. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So right now they got Ruiz. Ruiz back at the top of the lineup. He's a speedy guy. That's a very nice 2 young guys there for the future for both teams. C.J. Abrams, Ruiz are kind of prototypical, same kind of leadoff batters. They can get you good, solid hit. Not a lot of power. I mean, Abrams went deep in his fair time. But they're both dangerous. They're definitely both, I say definitely, they're both rostering with the way that both of these teams are trying to look at their pitching roster. I like Bleday a lot, right? And Adon's a righty, and they got some pretty talented lefties in Oakland, Seth Brown and Soderstrom. They don't have, they're missing a couple guys that I like. Noda is not in there, but it could be sneaky. I mean, again, it's a 9 over under. D. Smith is a very good, first baseman that can light it up. Lane Thomas. I mean, both these pitchers have a ERA of over 4, even though Adon has a small sample size. But I like both leadoff hitters. I like Dominic Smith as a lefty. I mean, Vargas can be sneaky there. Meneses have been doing pretty good. Seth Brown can hit for power. Langliers can be sneaky. I mean, this is you got 2 bottom end teams like this at the bottom of the divisions. They're just free falling out there. It's free swinging, so there could definitely be some fireworks in this game. Don't let the names fool you. The pitching, there's still kind of development, so I mean, you can go anywhere, man, with this, man. I see a close game, man. I mean, they go over the cover. It says a 9 over under. It's kind of close on the money line, man. I mean, we can look at where he pitched. He was on the road. Adon didn't do good against Texas. They're tough. I mean, he only went 3 innings against them. I would say probably between the two, probably the more experienced pitcher is Blackburn. He has a lot more starts this year, as you can see. A lot more starts, a lot more quality production. So, I mean, if you was to go with one of the two, definitely Blackburn would be the one that has more situational prowess. He doesn't get over the long ball a lot, which is good. I just don't know how much strikeouts he's going to get in the game. I mean, he's averaging about 12 fantasy points a game at 6,900 and going against a team that doesn't really hit for power. That's pretty good. So I do like Blackburn, man. I do like him a lot. Like both the leadoff hitters in the game, and then you kind of just stack it out if you want to. If you're playing multiple lineups, definitely get, I'll definitely roll up like the first 5. I'll do a 1 through 5. You can probably skip Ruiz, if all the damage is done by the top three, you skip the cleanup batter, go down to Smith and Vargas. Or you can start down with Alex Call, do a 9-1-2, skip Meneses, get the cleanup hitter, and Dominic Smith. As for Oakland, definitely want to get their lefties. That's where most of their production is coming from lately. So Bleeday's in play, Seth Brown's play, Ruiz as a leadoff hitter, Soderstrom. Diaz is doing pretty decent, but definitely get all the lefties in there with Ruiz leading off. Ruiz, Bleeday, Seth Brown, and Soderstrom. That's what I'll deal with. You can probably throw Langeliers in there because if you want to save some money and then put in like three other players. Well, I know his salary's gonna be cheap. He's only 3,100. All right. So hopefully that helps with that game. Definitely take some of those, less expensive guys, and you can probably middle them in. Like Bleeday's only 28. Seth Brown is only 34. I mean, Soderstrom had a good game not too long ago, I believe. Against the Dodgers, he had that one game. He had 14. He went deep. So, I mean, his average is not good, but, I mean, we're talking about Oakland here, man. These guys are young. I mean, their percentage is going to be low. If they do anything in a game like this, they're going to move you up fast. So, that's what it is. That's what it's about when you want to pay. You got to take a risk. All right, Minnesota and Philly. Saw Philly kind of went ham yesterday with the long ball. Real Muto and it's crazy. I mean, it's one thing after another in that game. With the home runs. Trey Turner, Schwarber didn't go deep, but I had him in my lineup. But they did take care of the Nationals. They've cracked under 10 in the National League East now. They're only 9.5 back of the Braves, who had a really tough series against the Pirates. Pirates was playing those boys tough. But, yeah, Castellanos had a homer. Trey Turner, Real Muto. Bryce left the game. He's having some injury problems. He won't be in the lineup tonight. So, once again, Minnesota was very disappointed yesterday. They was going against, I think, Reese Olson, if I'm not mistaken. And he just looked like, or Hershot out there on the mound. They couldn't do anything with him. Man had 30 fantasy points. Now, I did look at his log, and he did have success against them early in the year. But that was early in the year. I didn't really think he could duplicate that, but he had a gem of a game. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. Reese and Liberatore they were the guys in the early slate, man. Those guys were dealing out there, man. Twins, and we know they strike out a lot. That's their Achilles heel. I mean, Shadette ranked 30th right here at the bottom. I don't know what Baldelli's going to do today to try to get that team back, but, I mean, they're going against Sanchez, and they got a work overhaul of Dallas Keuchel. I mean, so Sanchez is pretty decent. He hasn't won all year, man. He has how many starts? He got 10 starts this year. His whip looks good. He's been pitching decent. He already under 4, but he ain't been. He didn't get no run support, or he just can't finish the deal. I mean, this right here, home runs. 2 home runs against Kansas City, 2 against Baltimore. I mean, you give up 2 home runs in a game, and you still get 25 fantasy points. So it looks like he's giving up the runs at the wrong time by the long ball, or he's just not getting run support. So some of it is his doing, and some of it is just untimely luck. He's pitching good, and then he makes that one bad mistake, and then he's not getting enough run. That was a 2-3 result in that Baltimore game. We had 25 fantasy points. Pittsburgh, he pitched 5 innings in that game, had 2 walks, didn't give up anything, but they didn't give him, by the time he left the game, they didn't give him no run support. So he's kind of almost like what's the guy for the Yankees? Garrett Cole. They pitched their asses off, but they can't. They just get a bad end of the stick. So we got a good matchup here against Minnesota. They look very bad yesterday, so proceed with caution. I don't. They can't go anywhere but up, honestly. Julian had a bag. I mean, they didn't score any runs against the Tigers yesterday. That's horrible. Let's see what Covers got to say about this game. I mean, they got Pittsburgh lined up as a favorite, minus 148. Keuchel, I can tell you right now, I'm not. I'm sorry, I just can't tell anybody to put chips on Dallas Keuchel. He's kind of like a what's the guy like a Wainwright trying to come back and resurrect his career. I know he still loves the game, but I mean, before he left the game, he was doing terrible. I don't really see him going very far. I mean, look at his first game against Arizona, he gave up 8 hits. I mean, he doesn't have any velocity. His movement is not deception. It's no deception to his game at all. So definitely get some Minnesota. I won't say put a lot of Minnesota bats because they can be very frustrating. Carlos Carrera has been awful. I mean, when he was one of my favorite players when he played with the Astros, but since he's been with Minnesota, he's just very minuscule. Man, guy banned 227. You know, he's just hot cold. He'll come out and have a good game like here. He just can't string along a decent amount of games. I don't know what his problem is. He'll take a walk or he'll get a hit, man. But I mean, he's not. I don't know, man. He's just very unreliable. I mean, look at this 3-3-0-0-2-0-7-7. Had a good game against Detroit. Had a decent game against the second game. You know, it went deep and had a home run. Then he went back to his old ways, 3. So, but overall, man, I mean, before the Detroit series, he was awful. Look at this. I mean, back to July 26th, 0-7-3-3-0-0-2. So, I mean, he's got a lefty on the mound they can definitely hit. I mean, he's definitely in play. I mean, they can't go anywhere but up, honestly, from yesterday. from yesterday. They can't go anywhere but up, man. I'm surprised because they got Sanchez, who is a lefty, and surprisingly, Kepler is a lefty. Normally, Baldelli doesn't play Kepler against lefties, so that's quite interesting. When I played Kepler yesterday, he did hit a ball to the wall. I had a lot of those in my lineup. A lot of guys going to the wall. Didn't get over the damn wall. But he's shaking things up in the lineup. We got Castro leading off. I mean, they're hurting right now with Buxton not being in that lineup. Solano's DTD. They're missing Larnock and Kirilloff. They got Luplow in the lineup. I mean, they're looking sad right now, man. So Polanco's still coming off that injury. He's trying to find himself. He didn't do anything yesterday. So this is a very hot, cold team. He doesn't know what side of the bed the Twins are going to wake up on. But they are worth rostering. Their batters are worth giving a shot. Trust me, I have no idea. I mean, they are so lucky to be in the AL Central with 60 wins. I mean, I don't know how they got to. They're only 3 games over 500. They lost 3 in a row, and they're still up by 3.5 on Cleveland. So they are very fortunate to be in the division that they're in, honestly. I can't tell you anywhere else. They're one of the luckiest teams to be at the front of their division. They're 33-24 at home. On the road, as you can see, they're not as good, and they surely played like that yesterday. 27-33 away. So again, they don't have a good pitcher on the mound. That doesn't bode well for them. They're gonna have to score if they're gonna win this game. They're gonna have to score runs. But I like Philly in this game. I definitely say get if it's a sign of anything to come, maybe Real Muto can string together some games here. I mean, he had a great game yesterday. I'll roll him back out there again. He got a great matchup. Bohm has another good matchup. I mean, they're looking good, man. I ain't gonna lie against Kako. Kako doesn't. I won't be surprised if he get knocked out in the first three innings or less. This over under should be more than 9. Honestly, I mean Sanchez is gonna give up something too. I mean he's not off the hook either, but he has a better matchup, especially with them striking out so much. So definitely like Philly. Maybe Carrera can do something. Kepler. Those are two of their better hitters. Um, in that lineup with along Polanco, I mean, a sleeper in that lineup could. I don't like Gallo, man. He looked bad yesterday. I mean, Castro leading off is quite interesting. I mean, he can steal bases. He can look at that 14-14. I mean, so with him having the opportunity to get four at bats, he can definitely get double digits production. So I mean, Castro looks good right there too. Alright, I won't put too much. I won't put no more than like three batters in there for Minnesota, though. Honestly, I'll probably just go with their leadoff hitter, um, and that's it. I mean, oh man, I'm trying to see where Ruiz. He's outfielder. I've always been a big fan of Ruiz. This guy, he'll take off for second and third. He don't care. He got two stolen bases in that last game. He's like there, modern day Ricky Henderson out there. Yes, sir. I don't know who's going to. I mean, it's going to be quite exciting to watch both of those guys and those leadoffs. So you got three great leadoff hitters: Ruiz, Castro, um, Ruiz. Oh yeah, I wanted Abrams, not Carrera. I want Abrams. There we go. You got three great leadoff hitters right there. That's a lot of speed. You can probably leave Kepler down there, but I like Bohm. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be Schwarber's turn. Somebody's going to have to pick up the slack with them not having. Castellanos always a great player, but with them not having Harper in that lineup, somebody's going to have to pick up the slack. So, again, I mean, we know what the damage that Schwarber can do. So, Keiko, you got if he come up there with any weak stuff against Schwarber, man, he's gonna be in for it. I can tell you that. Um, we can go to let's look up a little bit of his splits real quick and see how he's doing against lefties. I don't think he's that. I know he's good against righties, but there's a lot so far in these early games. A lot of lefties versus lefties going on here, especially in that Minnesota matchup. I think Baudel is kind of desperate for whatever, but he's doing okay. I mean, his average is not bad. He's a straight slugger, so 11 home runs and 145 at bats. That's not bad. He got 14 extra base hits, so he can hit both. And he ain't leading off for no reason. So his slugging and OPS everything's almost about identical. Alright, so he's doing a lot better at nighttime. Nobody on, out, not the best. Slugging. Bases loaded. He does pretty good in situations. So if Keiko gets behind him, he's deadly with let's see, 3-1 count. Got one at 9 at bats. He's good on a 3-1 count. 2-0 count, good. So anything with just a ball with no strikes, he's good. So he got some good leadoff going there. Schwarber leading off, Ruiz leading off, Abrams, Castro. I can maybe take Kepler out here. But that's not bad. That's a nice little strategy right there. So Philly, all Philly in that game. Don't really like Keuchel at all. You can maybe go with, maybe 2 Minnesota. If you think Carrera comes back with a good game, you can roster him. But he's just been mid all year. Polanco might be able to do something. I mean, let's see why Baldelli has opted in to leave Kepler in the lineup. It's kind of interesting. I know he normally only put Kepler in versus righties. What does he see today? I have no idea. Maybe because he think he can take advantage of the young guy here. They got something up their sleeve. So again, I mean, versus lefties, not doing much. I mean, it ain't awful, but he's seen a lot of shares versus right. Look at 15 home runs. So away, okay. At nighttime, he sees the ball very good at night. Runs in scoring position, pretty decent. .839 OPS. Um, so maybe that's what maybe he needs his situational there. That's the only thing I can say. Um, 1-0 count, not bad. Nothing on the 2-0, nothing on the 3-0. He's pretty good on the 0-1 count. So yeah, so just kind of dig and dive and deep in depth with that. Again, over under in that game is it's gonna be important to see. It's 9, so on the live right now, so 9.5 open. So scoring a lot of offense there. I don't put it past them. So there's no Minnesota. They don't play good on the road. So this is a game Philly should come out. And hopefully they won't start out as slow as they did. Don't like any of the pitchers really there in that game at all. I mean, I give the edge to Sanchez. Maybe they come out strong, jump on Keiko, get him a lead, and he can sustain it. But I like him out of the two. I mean, you can roster him. You can definitely roster him and Blackburn so far if you like any of them. I mean, Minnesota ain't scaring nobody right now. They kind of hurt up and down that lineup. So Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, you got Abbott. I think Abbott looked pretty bad in his last start, if I can recall. Yeah, he got beat up by Washington. I don't know what happened in that game, but he ain't going to get no easy against Pittsburgh, who came off of a very good series against the Braves. Oviedo had a very good pitching performance against Milwaukee. He's a winner of his last 3 games, so he's kind of lowered his ERA a little bit. He's over 100 strikeouts for the year, so he can get strikeouts. We've seen Cincinnati can get God. They're not like a team that anybody can just fear. So right now they are. Let's see. They're down there. They're ranked 25th in strikeouts, so that is good for Oviedo. Let's see how he pitches at home. Not bad. I mean, 3-5 at home, 11 games, 5 home runs. Whip is better. Average is a little bit better. Kind of pretty much saying hasn't had any sample size against Cincinnati, so he is a righty. Look at expected lineups today. They got Friedel at the top. De La Cruz batting third. He's not leading off, so there may be some RBI opportunities for De La Cruz. Votto, the veteran, in there. Just kind of looking at some of these lefties. So all their lefties are legit. Will Benson can hit for contact. Spencer Steers there, batting clean up. They got Luke Mallon there instead of Stevenson. So it's just up to Abbott. It depends on what Abbott. I mean, he's a lefty, but Reynolds been swinging the bat good. Cameron Haynes has been doing well. They got Sawinski batting down the bottom of the order. So let's see if Vegas. This is a tricky one for Vegas to predict because the young man came off a bad game. His habit in his last start didn't look sharp at all. So they got a 9. They're playing it safe. Close consensus. People are giving Cincinnati the edge, but right now, Cincinnati, they are 2.5 games back. Pittsburgh, they're fighting for their lives. They're trying to reclaim what they started earlier in the year, but they fell off. So they're at home. They're 28-30. Away 24-33. So they got we know PNC Park is a pitcher's park, so that might be good for Abbott. So I mean, I do like both the pitchers. There's a lot of young kids in this game. Not too many veterans. You got Votto. I know McCutchen took the day off yesterday. McCutchen wasn't in the lineup. Let's see here if I can get my screen back. So let's see. So McCutchen's back in there. The 2 veterans of McCutchen and Votto, they're in the heart of order. So Piguero looked very good against the Braves yesterday. He's another one. Don't sleep on him. So Sawinski is a lot better against righties and lefties, but he still got power. So Pittsburgh can be a real sneaky team today, and so can Cincinnati. So Cincinnati has a lot more to play for, trying to keep up stay pace with the Cubs and catch Milwaukee. And if they win, there's a lot at stake in this game because if Pittsburgh loses Cincinnati, they lose ground on they're losing ground not only on somebody trying to catch in Cincinnati, but they possibly could lose ground to Milwaukee and Chicago. So this one you want to keep an eye on. This one should be very competitive. I'm pretty sure the pitchers are gonna want to have a little more dominance in this game, not kind of give freebies away. Cincinnati loses of their last two, so they can't keep faltering. So I think that's why they got a slight consensus, but Vegas is putting their chips on Pittsburgh, and I think the only reason they're doing that slightly just based on how they performed in the Braves matchup. So, but if the problem is if Abbott comes out and he pitches well, which we know he's capable of doing. And let's look at his splits. Away, he's 4-1 on the road. So 31 innings pitched. His whip is a little bit higher. Batting average is a little bit higher. So he's giving you a little bit more at home than away. But I give advantage to Abbott in this one because he's turning Reynolds around. He should be able to handle McCutchen. And Sawinski gets turned around to the left, which he's not as much dominant. So advantage Abbott. I don't know. De La Cruz he's a stud. Him and Spencer Steer. If you can get him in there, I'll throw Votto in there, man. It's a 9 over under. So Votto, he's one of those boom or bust kind of guys. When he's on, he's hard to shut down. He had 3 hits in that last game against Miami. So that heart of the order is looking good. I like it. I really like everybody in that lineup. They're just expensive. You're gonna pay a penny for these guys. They weren't leading the division earlier in the year because they're chumps. So Cincinnati's looking good, man. I know Oviedo looked good in his last game, but that was last game. It's daily fantasy. He can come out here and get hit again. So I think Abbott is probably looking forward to getting back out there in the mound and redeeming himself. Pittsburgh, man, I don't know. Certain teams will look real good against certain teams. Maybe they'll get up for the Braves. Not maybe, but they did get up for the Braves. And they took it L yesterday, and they played tough against the Braves, but then they come in and play Cincinnati, and they look mediocre. So I don't know what was going on with him in Washington, Chicago. He had 2 great games before that, and he just came down to earth. Against the Cubs, the Cubs were smelling blood, and in Washington, they ain't got nothing to play for. And I'm telling you, they're the ultimate spoiler right now. They going up there free swinging, man. So he probably took Washington for granted. Hopefully comes in a lot more focus in this one and use the park, the dimension of the park to pitch a good game. So I like Cincinnati in that one. Don't really like too much in Pittsburgh. Maybe the day off from McCutchen did him some good. Reynolds is a lot better from the left side. This guy he's looking like a really good baseball player, man. You definitely want to roster him. He can definitely get the circus going. But I'm just giving a little info on Pittsburgh. If you like, it's a close consensus. So if you like Pittsburgh and you think Abbott has something going on in his mechanics and he's gonna falter again, you want to go to the top of the order. You want to go with Cameron Hayes. You want to go with Reynolds. You want to go with McCutch. Kind of Joe is fast on the bases. Then you can maybe get a little bit of action down there. If you're doing the Pittsburgh stack, Piguero looked good in that last game versus the Braves. So he's another righty. Abbott is a lefty, so they got some righties in the lineup that can give him some problems. Again, Connor Joe, no stolen bases lately, but I mean, he can put up, he can hit for power, and he can run. So that's why they got him in the cleanups. The Pirates, on the other hand, I don't think Abbott gets abused today, but I mean, you got to look at his ceiling and his floor. I mean, his floor wasn't impressive, but him being his lefty and being in a pitcher's park, I think he redeems himself today. That's what I think. I don't think he's gonna hurt you like he did in the last two games. I think the law of averages brings him back up, and Pittsburgh comes back down to earth today. Cincinnati, they need to win. This is a team that they relish what they had. Pittsburgh was out front, and they played bad baseball for a long time. So if they had, I mean, if the management, if you know you want to be in contention for winning the division or even possibly have a wild card, you got to put teams like Pittsburgh away. So we're gonna see if Cincinnati does that today, and if Abbott relives himself. All right. So we got Chicago and Toronto. We got Barrios on the mound and Assad. Assad kind of held his own. He had his own against the Braves that game. Yeah, he was tough though. I ain't gonna even lie. He only went 3 innings, but he came out of the bullpen and said, "Hey, we're gonna give you a start against the Braves. Get out there and show us what you got." And he held his own. He only gave up one long ball. Didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but he didn't tank. So he's $6,000 and rolling him out there again against Toronto, who's always had problems bringing runners home. I like the kid Assad. The only problem with him, he can't go long innings. Bears been doing pretty mediocre lately. The Dodgers were tough, so we give him a pass. But 18 against Boston, he's been giving you his average the last 3 out of 4 games. 22 against San Diego, 18 against Anaheim, 18 against Boston. Not doing anything over the top, but he's giving his team a chance to win. Out of the last 3 games, 2 no decisions and 1 win, right? So Chicago, again, we don't know what side of the bed they're gonna wake up on. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. It can be very dangerous. Okay, they can be very dangerous. Both these teams. We get down to the last 50 games of the season. It's gonna be a lot of scoreboard watching, a lot of position changing in these divisions. So both these teams have a lot at stake. Toronto, they've been playing better, 6-4 in their last 10. They did drop the game yesterday, unfortunately. But it's another good game with a lot of standing implication. All right, so first thing you want to look at is his splits, man. I mean, no sample size, but he's at home. He's been doing a little bit better at home than away. But, I mean, Chicago got some batters, man. I ain't going to sit up here in front. They got Topman leading off. They got Hat batting from the left. Bailey. Swanson is good. Morrell. So, I mean, they've been swinging the ball, over the course. I know Toronto got a better record. But, I mean, Chicago, Assad he's kind of hard to crack, man. So, it's definitely not a shoe-in for Toronto. Let me let you know that. They got Biggio there in the middle of the order. Can they get to the side? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he hasn't had a lot of sample size for a lot of these batters. A lot of them haven't faced him yet. And that might be a problem with Toronto. So, I don't trust Toronto going into this game. I'll kind of avoid them. I don't really like Biggio batting there in the middle of that order either. So they giving Toronto minus 155, and that's because of Barrios. He has more of I hate to use the word veteran, but he just has more sample size. He has more experience than Assad. But I'm telling you, that kid Assad is on his way up. Don't take him for granted. All right, so it's a 9 over under. They do see a little bit of offense in that game. I mean, Barrios is a righty, and Assad is a righty. Again, in the Braves game, he only gave up 2 earned runs in 3 innings. So that's a Braves, man. But I mean, look at these other games. 3 innings against Cincinnati, 1 hit. and 13 fantasy points. And he didn't give up the long ball at all. So he's tough. He's feisty out there, man. Barrios, I'm gonna tell you, he got a tough matchup. Them lefties in Chicago gonna give him some problems. I will avoid him. I will avoid Barrios. I really would. Um, he's been walking a lot of batters too, man. That's not good. He's been getting off the hook with his strikeouts, but Chicago's a team, man. You cannot give them free passes. They will run and they will bring runners in. So, I mean, I would avoid Barrios in this game. I see offense in this game. I think Assad, he'll have some damage control. But he's not worth rostering because he's more of a relief guy. He's just filling in right now. So, get the lefties for Chicago, Toronto. If you want, again, if you want to ask me for Toronto, I mean, they don't look the same with Bichette in that lineup. I ain't going to even lie. That's why they got Springer cleaning up, man. But I don't know. I don't trust Toronto's offense. I had Belt yesterday. Thought he was going to do something. He got a late hit there and kind of got a few points, but he's been very mid, man. They got him there as a lefty, man. Merrifield leading off. I mean, anytime you see a team playing around with their leadoff batter, man, that's issues, man. Same thing with the Yankees. They can't identify who's going to lead off, so their offense, man, it's all over the place, and they strand too many runners. I don't like they're putting players. None of these players can get real comfortable in a role. They're all over the fucking place, man. So they got a lot of names on paper that look good, but don't get fooled by them. I mean, they're not scaring anybody. I mean, Chapman, he can go, do something every once in a while, but he's been mid. He's just not been in Matt Chapman regular form that we used to. This guy should easily be over 20 home runs by this time. He got a hit, but nothing else. He's not scoring runs. He's not batting anybody in. He's been right there in the middle of that lineup all year. So let them beat you. They beat you, let them beat you. But Chicago gonna play them tough. They got Atlanta and New York. This is going to be a good series. Atlanta's always taking pride in putting the Mets under, but they don't have to do that this year. The Mets have put themselves under. They pretty much have tanked. They're 20 games out. Let's see what they got starting for the Mets today. Yeah, Charlie Morton, who needs to get a good quality start. He's been kind of getting knocked around lately. They need a good start out of him. He's a righty. He's got to be careful once again. Alonso's been on a tear. When we know that the young man Lindor bats better from the left-hand side. So Petey's on his game. The polar bear is polarizing right now. I mean, he's got 4 home runs in his last 3 games. So he's going to be up there licking his chops. And I mean, if the Mets got any pride, they're not going to win the division. But if you're a Mets fan, what you're looking for is just what the Pirates did. Give the Braves be a tough out. Don't let the Braves come in and roll over you. But I mean, Morton hasn't been dominant this year. According to his record, as you can see, he still always sports a high salary because of his past. But his ERA is on the 4. But I mean, last 4 games been very mid, man. So against the Mets this year, he didn't do well. I mean, 2 games started, he didn't win. 8 earned runs, gave up 2 home runs. So that's not good. Away, not as good as at home. So Morton is definitely vulnerable. And these 2 teams know each other very well. So I would not roster Morton today, not against the Mets. I won't do it. I mean, you just gotta let Morton beat you. 9,600 with this many games against the Mets, who want to be up there free swinging. They're gonna play spoilers, and they may still have a shot at a wild card. I'm not certain, but they got to get back to 500. But 3-7 in their last 10, that ain't good. I mean, they play better at home than away. They're 28-24, so that's going good for them. So let's see what Covers got to say. They got Tyler McGill. They're going all Atlanta, man. A lot of people on that lane. Atlanta's got a lot of fans like the Yankees throughout the country. So, you know, doesn't look outside of just the fireworks from Alonso. There's not really much going on in Mets country right now. So, Taylor Miguel, I mean, right now, he's 6,200. I had a lot of high hopes for this guy at the beginning of the year, but he just hasn't panned out. This is why the consensus is what it is. And I'm gonna tell you about the Braves. They will when they go up there to that park out there. They play well up there. Even back in the days when Chipper Jones and Freeman, they owned them, man. They owned the Mets, man. Certain Braves players always own the Mets. So this guy had a -10 against Pittsburgh and a -3 against Houston. So something's wrong with him. His mechanics. I'm surprised he's only 6-5. But he has a higher ERA. He's walking a lot of batters in wrong time. He can't do that with the Braves, man. So don't like Miguel. We know that Olsen went deep yesterday. He's seeing lights out. Riley's gonna probably go deep here, but the problem with the Braves, they're so expensive, man. 5,900 for Riley. You got Albies 5,600. He's another lefty that could do some damage. He's been very consistent. I mean, a lot of these Braves players are playing good. Michael Harris has seen the ball very well. This might be a game where the Braves get their act together and really just put a double number up today on the Mets, man, honestly. So, Arnold is back in there. Marcia had a great series against the Pirates. So, Braves are looking good. I mean, how you put them together, that's on you. I'm not certain how you're going to do it, but don't like none of the pitchers there. I like all Braves. If you're going to go against Morton, definitely got to throw Lindor in there. Nemo gives the Braves a tough time. He does. Nemo plays, even though don't worry with this here, but he's gonna give him a tough. He's gonna try to lead the train and get on base. The top of the order looks good. I mean, if he makes a mistake, the Vogelbach, he'll take him deep. He will definitely take him deep. Trust me. So. Those are the 4 players I like in the lineup. Vogelbach, Nemo, Lindor, and Alonso. I mean, Jeff McNeil, too. Jeff McNeil, he's batting clean up today. I call Jeff McNeil Coors Light. He just looks like a beer can to me. But he plays the Braves hard. McNeil's a definite play. He never gives us a break. This guy never gives the guy the Braves a break at all, man. So the Mets can definitely have a say in what goes down with the Braves over here over the next 3 games. They were 5-5 in the last 10, so if they drop the first game, look out. And Strider, they beat up on Strider before, so this not gonna be. They came off that Pirates game stretch. It's not gonna be a walk in the park for the Braves either. So proceed with caution. I like the offense. I like the offense in this game. I do. It's going to be a good game to watch for sure. A lot of rivalry going on here. One team excelling well and the other one who just pretty much just is going to go ahead and tank the rest of the season. So let's see how they react to that. Got Detroit and Boston. Yeah, and Chris Sale on the mound, man. Chris Sale can be deceiving. You'll think, at 7,900, his salary would be a lot more, but Detroit's been spoilers a lot lately. I ain't gonna lie, man, but you don't know what to call it. So yeah, it was pretty successful. 5 innings pitched. He had 7 strikeouts. Sale's always gonna be good for anywhere from like 6 to 10 strikeouts, depending on who he's playing. So I think the Tigers are kind of mid. Yeah, they're ranked 19th in strikeouts. So they looked very good yesterday. Well, what they gonna? They got their one of their better pitchers on the mound in Scooble. He's been doing very good lately. He's been a tough out. I mean, he got hit up by Kansas City, but overall, with the exception of that Miami game, he did good against Tampa Bay, very good against San Francisco. Since he's come back, he's been pretty admirable. He just had a couple bumps in the road, man. But him being a lefty going against Boston does help him a little bit. Right now, there again, it's not a high number. Even with Chris Sale on the mound, it's only minus 135. So again, I mean, Vegas is respecting Detroit and Kansas City a lot more. I mean, I was talking about Kansas City the other week, and I was like, man, Vegas taking it for granted. They ran off several games in a row, and that's what you get with these teams that aren't playing for any playoff spot. They're coming in there developing. They're being aggressive at the plate. The pitchers are loose, and they can really mess you up. They can be sleepers. They can be teams where you can roster the pitcher and he has a good game, like Brady Singer's been having. You can roster the batters and they have a great game. Like Massey and some of these other guys that don't really get a lot of clout. They don't get any clout, man. So I don't know how they're gonna handle Sale today. I mean, Verlin is up there. They're loading up on the righties. Look at that. They only got one left in the lineup, so that could be issues. Meggy's there in the middle, DHing. Baez, he bunted for a hit yesterday and was praying to the gods. So I don't know. I don't know. I like Chris Sale, man. I do, but he's not what he was when they was at the top of their game. When Boston was making a run for the championship. When they had Mookie and all those guys. So you can roster him, man, but don't expect like there's a reason why he's 7,900 and not 9,000. Why his salary went down to 7,900. He had Cincinnati and he had 6 strikeouts, but he gave up 5 hits. He only lasted 3 innings. The 2 games against San Diego and St. Louis, he did his thing. Again, like I said, you would think that he would do good against Detroit. He did beat them at Detroit. He's back home. So how is he at home? He's a little bit better at home, and he has beaten them before. And he has 7 strikeouts on him. So, yeah, you can roster him. Again, he's just going up against a lot of righties, and that can be concerning. If he start missing on the inside of the plate and can't locate the ball at the top of the strike zone, he can run into problems, man. And he just throws that ball up there. It doesn't have the same velocity like it used to. They can get him. So, but I still roll him. I like Chris Sale. It's fantasy. You don't know what's gonna happen. So Boston, they need to win. They're gonna put their chips on this guy to come through for them. So they're kind of on the cheat. They won 2 in a row. They're 4-6. There's a long uproar. I mean, they're fighting off the Yankees now. Only 1 game ahead of them, so they need to win. Detroit's a team. They're 7 games back, but they're way more talented than Detroit. They're supposed to take care of this team with Chris Sale on the mound. We're going to drop Sale in there, 7,900. Some of the hitters for Boston, I know Devers does not do very well against lefties. Story's back in there. He's kind of finding himself again. He might get his first home run of the year tonight. I don't really want to play around with Scooble too much, so you want to kind of go with somebody who has power. And it'll be that middle of the lineup, man. With Duvall. I said Duvall, Story, Yoshida. If you want to take one of these guys at the bottom of the line, we saw Pablo hit that grand slam the other day, so he could definitely be in play. So I'll go look at those 4 players against School. So the over/under in that game is 9. So a lot of 9s so far by Vegas. You can run it back with Detroit. You can run it back with Baez. Torkelson didn't do much yesterday, but he hit a fastball. He's gonna be ready for Sale today. He had 2 home runs in that 3rd game against Minnesota. He didn't do anything yesterday, so you can definitely roster Torkelson and Baez. If they don't get anything against Sale, they may get something when the bullpen comes in. But they are scoring offense in this game, so they're Detroit, they definitely going to get some kind of production. Jake Rogers, 14 home runs. You look at his team, they're sneaky. Like, how do these guys got all this production? Like, You think Detroit's supposed to be bad, and they got some players in here that are hitting the ball, and that's why they're only 7 games back. So Matt Verlin's leading off. He's got a hit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-game hitting streak. Another great player. So just get your popcorn ready and see how Sale does. But I like Detroit bats. Um, I don't think Scuba goes into the negative. I mean, if you want to roster him, by all means, you can definitely do that. Right now, Boston at home, they are 33-27, so they like playing at Fenway. They gotta win. This game is more important to Boston than Detroit. So if they're a contender and not a pretender, they should be the ones that take this game and win it. I'll say Boston. I like Chris Sale. He had a win against them. He does better at home. All the check in the boxes are for Boston. And they can probably give School some problems. He's been pitching good. Don't get me wrong. He had a couple bad games there, but they got to get to him and get to him early. So, all right, got a lot of games here. We'll kind of speed through some of these games here. St. Louis yesterday, I believe they did pick up that win because Liberatore did so well against his old team. And yeah, they did 5-2 over the Rays. Again, I have no idea why they're still rolling Wainwright out here. I really don't know. This is very sad. This guy should really be in the bullpen. Why is he even coming out here, man? So he had 6 strikeouts against Kansas City, 3 on runs. I don't like Wainwright at all. Kansas City, on their end, they're doing a bullpen day, so I don't like pitchers for bullpen. This guy Dylan Coleman or whatever. He might get an inning in there, but he's not looking good. Hey, this over-under got to be high. I already know. So, look, 11, get your bats out. Look at that, 11. I just read those pictures, and I'm like, get the hell on up out of here. So, we know Wainwright is, I believe he's a righty. Yep, he's a righty. So, Kansas City been sneaky all year, guys. They've been won some tournaments for some guys. They really have. Melendez is looking good here lately. He had a big game not too long ago. Look at that against Boston. 2 home runs in that game. He's been coming on. Put him in your lineup. I think Massey is lefty. He had a good game against Boston. 25 points. Get him in your lineup. Throw him in there. Bobby Witt is developing. He's a righty, but get him in your lineup. He played good. He's averaging 14 fantasy points. Top of the order looks good. All of them do, man. I mean, Olivares, he's a righty, but hey, yeah, he didn't do anything against him. He got all donuts there in one game, but he might actually end up doing something today. Isbell got 4 home runs. No games against him. He's a lefty. So, small power. But look, he had 2 games back to back against Minnesota where he's winning the 20s. Another sneaky play. You just roll them out there, man, and see what they can do for you. They got a very good matchup, man. I just don't know. I mean, that game against Colorado, he looks so bad. I mean, how many times can you just go out there in front of your teammates and just put up bad performances? A struggle, So, I don't think he does as bad in this game. I don't think he goes into the negative. But, I mean, this might be a game where he gets about 4 or 5 strikeouts. And, they'll be lucky if he gets them 4 or 5 innings. I can't see it, man. They're tough. They still got something to play for. It'll be interesting, man. I think they'll pull the plug on him, though. If he comes out, he's getting hit after hit. I think they're gonna take him out of the game. There's no need to just leave him in there to get battered. St. Louis ain't playing for anything, but as for their hitters, I mean, Goldie hasn't went deep in a while. I mean, You know, I know they're looking at different pitchers in the bullpen day, but Arenado looked good yesterday. He scored all the way from first base on a base hit. I mean, so again, St. Louis, they're like Toronto. They got some good sluggers in their lineup, but they have issues bringing runs in. So I like batters. I like all the batters. I like everybody in this game. Just however you want to construct the lineup. New Bar's been on fire. Um, he's in the mix. He's on a four-game hitting streak. I mean, if you want to lead, say, hey, I'm gonna start off with Nars. Do that. Gorman, he just missed. Had some good swings, but just been missing. Right. Maybe he gets off the snide. It's very sneaky here, man. This is a game where it could be a lot of back and forth, man. Anybody can go deep in this game. Burleson, Walker, Contreras, Edmund went deep yesterday. It's just you put them out there and see who does what. None of these pitchers are like dominant pitchers, man. So no pitching there, all bats, guys. That's definitely a game you need to get some batters out of. So right now, Luis Robert Jr. is day to day. That hurts me on the White Sox outlook in their lineup. White Sox they do strike out quite a bit. I like Corbin Burns. Once again, get him in your lineup. Pay the $11,000. Get him in there. The White Sox ain't playing for anything. That's some wide gaps there at that field, but kind of more of a pitcher's park, honestly. Kopech hasn't been looking that great. He didn't sink like he did against Atlanta, but didn't look good in that Cleveland game, and very mediocre in another start. So Milwaukee is playing for a lot right now. It's a game that he's not pitching good, man. So they're only half a game up on the Cubs. So again, let's see what their lineup is looking like. Yelich is always the leader of that lineup. Adames is back in the lineup. Could this be the day he got a home run yesterday? So finally, I've been counting on him. I'm a big follower. Get him back in your lineup. I think he can continue to. Maybe he's finally seen the ball. Get him in your lineup, man. Get Yelich. Contreras is kind of hot right now, and they haven't played the White Sox either. So Contreras is seeing the ball. He didn't do much yesterday, but he's been hitting. He's been doing better. Frelick has been good. He's not banned for no reason. I'll tell you that. All right. He had that big monster game in the first game against Colorado, so. Load up on Kopech, man. I mean, he hasn't been looking like how he was early in the season. Right now, 67% for Milwaukee. They got a good pitcher on the mound. Kopech has been struggling. You don't see much offense out of Chicago. 8.5 over under. So, yeah, man, I like Milwaukee, man. I like them in all ways. Carlos Santana's been, I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's been struggling, man. It's today to day he gets out of it. So, remember last time I went out and put Milwaukee as my number one stack, they went off. They went off, man. So, like White Sox there, all the way. We got Anaheim and Houston. It should be pretty interesting. Verlander's on the mound. And Detmers is on the mound. Detmers, I believe, is a lefty. Yep. So, over under in this game. We got 8.5. Houston can be sneaky, man. That game they played yesterday was real sneaky. So right now, I mean, Anaheim made some trades. They're still in play. They're 10.5 games back. They won their last two. And they're trying to catch Houston, man. Houston's playing good. 7-3. Let's see who's on the mound. Verlander's on the mound. He's a tough cookie, man. He's tough, man. Just put that out there. So the Yankees kind of got to him a little bit, but I mean, he's gonna bring it. He's at home. He's played for this team before. I mean, outside of Otani, man, ain't really much. I mean, so far they're still trying to find an identity in that lineup. They got Moose batting fourth, Renfro down at the bottom. I know Tucker and Alvarez is, they actually hit lefties pretty good, honestly. So, yeah, I think Houston rebounds in this one, guys. I think Houston does. I think they found a way to get 78%, man. Um, I like just about everything they got going. I don't know who can really get Verlander in there in Anaheim. I mean, I think it's a great matchup for Verlander, guys. I'm not really. I mean, they got Cron there, but I just feel like they don't really know. They're trying to find themselves right now. So I like Verlander, I like the Astros. I mean, you can pay up for Otani if you want. I mean, he's a righty on a lefty on Verlander. He got 3 home runs against Houston, so away, he doesn't bat as good as away. He's a lot better at home. But 2020, identical home runs, home and away. So, actually, his OPS is actually better on the road. I need a roster him and Rengifo, and hopefully that top of that order does something. And Drury comes up. But again, Verlander's a good pitcher. I don't really see much rolling right there, man. He's gonna keep that ball down. Got San Diego and Arizona. Let's go to Tatis, see what he's been up to. Yeah, donut in the last games. We know San Diego's crazy. Nothing in his last 2 games, guys. So he used to be top, right before the All-Star break. He was going off, man. But San Diego's a big disappointment. They got some players on there I really like. But they're 4-6 in their last 10. Lost 4 in a row. I'm pretty sure the morale's got to be very low in that clubhouse. But they got Snell on the mound. Reed Nelson, not the greatest pitcher. High ERA. He should be able to. San Diego should be able to get back on the snide today, man. Give up 3 home runs against him so far. So, and then we get the big guys in this, man. Get Soto and Tatis. Snell looks like a good play today at 10,600. So Arizona, they're gonna have their usual suspects: Corbin Carroll, Marte, Christian Walker. 9 over under. People liking San Diego. Same thing I said. I mean, Nelson is not anything good to start out with. I think this could be more of a 9. More than 9. I think it's going to be a lot of runs in this game, honestly. So, but, San Diego stack is definitely in play. If you're going to find a way to get Tatis in your lineup, go ahead and do it. And Soto, he's going up against a righty on the mound, so Bogart's been kind of disappointing. Normally he bats for a 300 average, but I don't know. Him not leading off. I mean, he's just something's wrong with him, man. He's not with the Bogarts that we know from Boston moving over here. But the 4,800 ain't bad. It's just this team, they're just kind of unreliable. But I do like them better today. Don't like really much outside of going against Blake Snell. He's a lefty. I mean, Christian Walker is definitely in play. Don't really like anybody else. Christian Walker and Marte, he's a switch hitter. Carroll, even though he is a lefty, I mean, you gotta kind of respect his ability to break out, even if he doesn't get a home run. Just him getting on base and being a threat to steal. So, Just the batters for Arizona. That's the main suspects, you know. But I do like a San Diego stack against Nelson. Now Baltimore and Seattle. Castillo's on the mound against Baltimore. Should be quite interesting. No sample size there to speak of against Baltimore. I think Mullins do come back today. But this guy's a stud, man. He's 7-7 because it had a lot of offensive issues with Seattle this year. A lot of juggling around with their lineup. At home, he's very good. 22.5 fantasy points, 5-3. Um, I like him. I do. I know Baltimore can be tough, but I can't say it. Castillo's a very reliable pitcher. So looking at the lineup, let's see what they're gonna roll out here. If I can get it. Got Rushman, so they got Mullins batting fifth. So they got some tough lefties, my guy. It's Rushman, Henderson, Santander, Mullins. That whole top five before you get to Mountcastle, they're all dangerous. All dangerous, man. Kyle Gibson, don't let the record fool you. He's been having a lot of support. 11-6, but he can definitely give up runs. Seattle kind of owned him. 5 earned runs. He's done good in the last 2 games. Had the Mets in Toronto. He's been keeping his hit count down. This would be an interesting game. Right now, Seattle, they are 5.5 games back. They're 9. They're playing hot, man. 7 in a row, guys. And they got their ace on the mound. So this over-under shouldn't be high. It shouldn't be high at all. Let's see if we can find the game first of all. So, yeah, 7.5. That's what I thought. 2 good, decent pitchers on the mound. So, I give the edge to Baltimore, though. And once Castillo goes out the game, those guys could probably do some damage. And when all Baltimore needs is 1 inning, man, they can put up a 3, 4, 5 spot that easy consecutively. But they're giving a nod to Castillo. He's a better pitcher. They're hot. They're playing good baseball. Should be a low-scoring game. Should be a close game. I mean, Gibson's a righty, so let's see what kind of lineup Seattle got there, if it's confirmed or not. It's not, but Julio's always in play. Suarez hits righties very well. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how the lefties roll up against Castillo and how Seattle continues to play at such a high level against a pitcher who's been doing good, but he can't have an off game. Kyle Riley is very tough, a great lefty. He's a switcher, but he's very good. I mean, they've owned Baltimore this year, so just a good game. It's a good game. I mean, if I had to choose, I would go with Seattle, man. 8 in a row is tough, though, man. Baltimore's gonna try to break that up, and both teams are kind of right there. Baltimore's fighting to stay on top of that division. Yeah, they're 3 games up on Tampa Bay. They won yesterday. They pulled that game out against Houston. A very impressive win. That's going to be a great game, guys. I'm rolling with Castillo. Colorado and the Dodgers. Again, I'm not going to speak much on this game. Pretty sure they got Lance Lynn on the mound. Gomber, he's bad pitcher. Pretty sure Dodgers has a very high spread line. Yep, minus 310. Lance Lynn looked good in his last game. He pitched, but that doesn't mean he's gonna look good today. I ain't gonna even front. Still don't trust this guy. I don't give a damn what he did. But you can roster him if you want. I mean, let's see what Colorado lineup looking at. Profar is gonna be dangerous. Like Mahan is gonna be dangerous. Diaz is gonna be dangerous. Nolan Jones is gonna be dangerous. They're sneaky today, man. They're looking good offensively, but Lance Lynn, I'm telling you, man, teams like Colorado will come in and just rip them apart. And Gomer's not good. I honestly, man, I think it should be a very high over-under. What would they got to set at? 8.5. This shit should be like 9.5, 10. Lance Lynn, he can be fool's gold. This 310 is just more about their offensive output. I wouldn't be surprised if you go out there and he struggle, guys. I'm telling you, man. So don't be careful with that. So, Gomber, he's. Let's see if he got splits. I'm pretty sure he has. Oh, he hasn't pitched against him, quite interestingly. So he's kind of stayed out of the negative here lately. Impressively, he hasn't given up the long ball in the last 3 games. How? I don't know, but he hasn't. But he had this early in the season. It was tough. He had some negatives. Look at that: -10, -3, -4, -18. So now he's figuring things out a little bit here at the end of the year, but going into the end of the year. But you got the Dodgers today, man. This ain't St. Louis. It ain't San Diego. It ain't Washington. You got Houston with 10. The Yankees aren't that good, so he's gonna get tested today. Mookie looks good. They don't have a confirmed lineup out yet. Freeman, even though he's banned from the left side, can go opposite. Will Smith looks good. Rosario looks good. I mean, I like everybody, man, for the Dodgers. So proceed with caution, guys, with Lance Lynn. Don't buy into the hype. All right, last but not least, we got in here, got Joe Gray, John Gray, I believe. John Gray. No sample size against San Francisco. And they're doing a bullpen day with San Francisco. I don't know what's going on with San Francisco, man, honestly. I mean, I don't know why they didn't make a splash at the deadline to try to get somebody. They're only 6.5 games back of the Dodgers. They could definitely get a wild card. But they've lost 2 in a row, and they got run out of damn bullpen day. So that doesn't feel well. John Gray's righty. Let's see. He hasn't faced him this year. And he's going to run into some issues. San Francisco, they're going to come out here, man, ready to play. Honestly, man. He hasn't given up the long ball in the last 3 games. Only won 1 game in the last 5 games, y'all. Hasn't really went deep into anything. I mean, Texas is not leading their division because they're slouches. I mean, Gray was a big part of what they did before, but 8.5 over under is showing more pitching. So he's a righty, so I don't know if they're gonna have Jock Peterson in that lineup today. But let's see, it's still kind of early for the West Coast. Yeah, I mean, let's look at this. With Peterson, Lamonte Wade, Estrada's tough. This gonna be, you gonna have Conforto in the lineup. He doesn't have Yashevsky. They got Bailey in there, so this lineup can actually produce some runs. Ross Stripling hasn't been great this year, so we got Corey Seager out there on the West Coast. He's always in play. Simeon's always on play. Grossman has been doing well lately. I mean, San Francisco, a Texas stack does look good here. I ain't gonna even lie. Especially if they're already in the bullpen, they don't have a solidified starter. And you're going against a team that's 21 games over 500, like that doesn't bode well at all. So I don't like anything really with San Francisco. The only thing I like with San Francisco is their lefties being able to possibly right the ship on John Gray. So we're going to look at one last thing before we wrap it up here. And let's see how John Gray looks against lefties. And that will tell you if you need to play him or not. And how he is on the road. So let's see. Is he 8 on 100 now? And there's a guy, he can get 30 fantasy points on the right night if you catch him. With them adding Scherzer here, hopefully that will give him some incentive, to be great. So again, against the lefties, look, 9 home runs. Against righties, much better. ERA 3.52. She's been giving up the long ball, versus Righties are much better. So he's a right-hand pitcher. Away, he's much better on the road, 3.14. At night, 3.88. 11 home runs. He's playing on grass, I believe. 3.14. 4-2 on grass. At night, 3.88. So both ERAs under 4. A home run ball that kind of bothers me a little bit. But I do like his road record and the whip. That's good. He's not good with runs in scoring position. That ERA is very high, 12 base loaded. So his situational doesn't look good at all. And one of the reasons why San Francisco is where they are is because they play good at home and they're very good. They're a very good situational team. So let's look at. They were off yesterday. The last game they played, they lost to the Angels 4-1. They didn't do much. They had Jock in that game. Who pitched for the Angels that game? Soriano. Looks like they had a bullpen game, guys. They didn't look good, man. Flores, Lamonte Wade. They had a bad game. Alright. And then let's go back to August 8th. They put up 5 runs on the Angels, but that wasn't enough. They're pitching. Again, the Giants are hurting right now because they're pitching. That's what's screwing them up. Jacob Jonas, he did okay, but they started out Scott Alexander, Alex Wood. They've been doing a lot of bullpen days, and that doesn't fade well when you're trying to win a division. So, and the Texans are tough, man. So right then and there, I think he can hold his own. I think he may. I mean, you may want to roster someone who can probably take him deep, and that would be somebody like Jock. Because he's giving up his samples. He's not good with runners in scoring position, guy. ERA less, but 9 home runs. I mean, pitcher's gonna give up home runs, but I don't like. He's almost 100 mark. If you get 5 strikeouts today, he'd go up 100. So that's an incentive for him today. And then looking at San Francisco, they're ranked dead down there. They're ranked 28th in strikeouts. So those are 2 good points. If you get some run support, he might be able to run away with that game. Alright, so it's about 30 minutes here before lock. Hopefully you guys will tune in, get a little bit again. I know I'm here at the end, but once you listen to my streams, man, just if it's a certain game you like, just fast forward to it, and then go back through little cuts and pieces here. All right. Good luck to you.